Yo, 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 welcome back to another video. I got a quick rundown for Vengeance Demon Hunter rotation abilities and some quick tips to help you out with them. The goal for the video is for you to understand Vengeance Demon Hunter a little bit better and to know the rotation for Mythic Plus and rating. Let me know if I reach that goal down in the comments below. Also, if you like the video and consider hitting that subscribe button. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm going to do it with your help. Let's get it. Alright, so for some quick tips for you guys that I wish I knew when I first started Vengeance Demon Hunter. Also, if you don't want to watch this, that's okay. I'll have timestamps below for the AOE rotation and the single target rotation, so feel free to skip to those. But if you do want to know the tips, I'll run through them real quick. You only want to use Fiery Brand defensively right before you're about to take a bunch of damage. You can use that obviously on raid, single target boss or something like that, or you can use it on a mob. If you know a certain target in the mob is going to hurt you more than others, I would use it on them. If you don't, then use it on somebody. Just use it before you're going to take a bunch of damage. Super helpful. Same thing for Metamorphosis. Use it when you're about to take a bunch of damage. I mean, this is huge. Literally, maximum health gets increased by 50%, armor by 200%. I mean, that's just fantastic. So use those preemptively, use those proactively before you're about to take a bunch of damage. If at all possible. A little tip here, also you can use Infernal Strike to get extra damage if you don't need the mobility or you're not about to pull another mob. Like if mobs are dying really fast, usually you'll probably, keep Infernal Strike to push into them anyways. But if you don't, if you're standing still in a raid fight or something like that and you're about to get cap on 2, you could use it again to get additional damage there. Small little tip, but it helps. Best Covenant by far is Curian. The other ones don't even compare. Just with File Serenity, that's just super helpful. But also just a Listening Decree, so much damage on snap threat right there. If you were gonna go on other covenants, I would recommend Vinthier or Night Fae, but I'm gonna be focusing on Curian basically for the rotation part of this video. It's just super fun. A Listening Decree is just badass and it looks cool. Look at this. It looks sweet. Looks awesome. 2 legendaries that I would focus on. Quick tip here. Darkglare Medallion. Fel Devastation has a 40% chance not incur its cooldown and refund 50 Fury. It's really big. This is a big heal for you and a big damaging ability. Basically, you're going to lead with. Has a 45-second cooldown. So if you have a 40% chance to not incur its cooldown, that is fantastic. And it gives you the Fury. So that's awesome. Or you can run the Sigil build, which is most common. This is most common in Mythic Plus. This Sigil build that recycles, I butchered that, Defilement or whatever, that's in rating mostly. I think I see you can do it. I think it does. It is a pretty significant damage increase. You could do it from Mythic Plus, but I don't see it very often. But basically, Soul Cleave reduces the remaining cooldown on a random Sigil by 8 seconds, or Listening Decree by 2 seconds. So mainly you're prioritizing not using your other sigils, especially not Sigil of Flame, and you're using Listening Decree instead. Basically, you just get that much faster, and you're using it basically on cooldown if you can. But yeah, those are the 2 legendaries I think I'd recommend that I wish I knew about when I first started, for sure. For single target rotation, you're going to lead with Taunt or Infernal Strike, probably both. You're going to use Fracture to build Lesser Soul Fragments and Fury. So then you're going to do Fel Devastation. This is a high priority and a Listening Decree. So you're using Fel Devastation, a Listening Decree, then you're using Soul Cleave or Spirit Bomb if talented. You're only using Spirit Bomb if you have 4 or more Soul Fragments, and then you're using Soul Cleave below that. You're not using either one of them usually if you have less than 2, or 1 or 0. You're not using it. Then you're using Immolation Aura, and then you're using your Fracture and Soul Cleave again, just basically as much as you can there, basically building Fury, healing yourself. Then you're using Throglaive. In single target, you do not use Sigil of Flame most of the time, especially if you're using the Razakil's Defilement Legendary. You want to save that for Listening Decree. So you're not using this at all. It's a DPS decrease. You're using Throglaive on the side. Then you're using the defensives whenever you need. So you want to keep Demon Spikes up as much as possible. Then you're using Metamorphosis if you're about to take a bunch of damage. You get super beefy, obviously. And then Fiery Brand, same thing. If you know you're about to take a bunch of damage, use it beforehand. And then you're rinsing and repeat. High priority, again, Fel Devastation and a Listening Decree. AOE rotation or Mythic Plus rotation, it's very similar to the single target one. You're leading with Infernal Strike for this. You're then using Fracture or Immolation Aura. I would say Immolation Aura just because it pulls it. For one, you get lesser soul fragments from it, and you do damage everyone around you, so threat. Next, you're using Fell Devastation. When you have enough Fury, you're spinning it almost immediately, and Elysian Decree. These are super high priority, almost at the beginning of the pull, so you want to use those. You're using Spirit Bomb if talented. Usually you're using Spirit Bomb if you have 4 or more Soul Fragments. If you don't, you're using Soul Cleave. Never use either one if you're below, if you only have 1 or 0, obviously. And then but you really want to try to prioritize an AoE and Mythic Plus Spirit Bomb. Just more value from it. It heals you more and it's more damage. You're fracturing if you have less than 4 souls most of the time. Immolation Aura, you're keeping up all the time. As much as you can, you're using it. It's just, I mean, it's giving you lesser soul fragments all the time, and it's dealing damage. Next thing is you're just basically fracturing and spirit bombing most of the time in AoE situations. If not, again, less than 4 soul fragments, you're using Soul Cleave instead. You are using Fell Devastation and Elysian Decree on cooldown. If you are using Elysian Decree, though, and the mob's about to die, just save it for next pull. You are using Sigil of Flame as it's very low priority, but you can use it as a damage increase or a filler in big mobs. It is a slight increase for sure. Again, you're using defensive cooldowns for Fiery Brand, but preemptively if you're about to take a lot of damage from a target. If you're about to pull a mob and you know a certain target does more damage, use it on them specifically, because obviously you can only pick one target for that. You're trying to keep demon spikes up at all times, and then you're using Metamorphosis preemptively, proactively, so that you're not going to take a bunch of damage and just die right off the bat in the pull. I mean, you get super beefy, super tanky when you use this, so just use it at the right time. And then you're rinsing and repeating. Again, your big things are Immolation Aura, try to keep up at all times. Elysian Decree, high priority. Fell Devastation, super high priority. It's a heal, damage increase. And then you're using Spirit Bomb on AoE when you have 4 or more soul fragments, which you should have in AoE situations like 90% of the time, all the time, basically. So Spirit Bomb is huge. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end of the video. Let me know if I reached the goal and you know more about Vengeance Demon Hunter and the rotation with single target AoE. If I said something wrong, let me know down in the comments below. I'm sure somebody would like to hear it. I know I would. But thank you so much for sticking around. If you like the video, and consider hitting that subscribe button. We'll have more content like this coming out all the time. I love you all. Peace.